What's up, guys? I'm Ben2000YGO. I am your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero, and today, guys, we're going to be talking about 10 decks that can outclass meta decks. Stick around. So if you guys know anything about me, you guys know that there's not a lot of meta decks that I particularly like. I mean, actually, out of like the top 5 decks that I think are meta, I'm gonna say Thunder Dragons is really the only one that I like, but I don't even really like the Guard Dragon variant of it. I really like I prefer the pure quote unquote Thunder Dragon variant. So. But that being said, it's obvious that I don't particularly care for the meta decks. Usually I find them annoying, I don't find them fun to play against. I find them rather, most of them I find them rather linear. They once you learn their plays, they're kind of like, yeah. Mind you, you have to learn their plays first before you get to that point, but you get what I'm saying. Let's get into this video, okay guys? First things first, I'm gonna go through the 10 decks, and then I'm gonna then we're gonna cut to a spreadsheet that I'm gonna make to show you what they're good against. So without further ado, let's get started. The first deck on the list is going to be Paleozoics. With their ability to not only play Mystic Mine and set up a shit ton of back row and play things like Card Demise, plus a lot of their monsters are unaffected by monster effects or unaffected by trap cards. It's nothing to scoff at. Paleozoics is definitely a dark horse deck, and they are, if I think about it, they got totally awesome in their arsenal. Do you really they have their own negations, they have their own field removal, they can, they go plus. It's like everything you could ever want in a back row heavy deck. The next one I'm going to have is True Draco. This is a deck I can't stand, but unfortunately, it's an important deck. This deck has its own, basically, well, they've stole it from Monarchs, really, but they have a skill drain, a one-sided skill drain, which, last I checked, I mean, as far as I know, really only like 2 out of the meta, this really hurts the meta decks. It hurts, all the ones that play monsters. And, I'm not saying that they don't have outs, but, not being able to activate your monster effects really hurts. The next one I have is Trickstars. This one actually can use some of the meta decks like Sky Strikers to boost their own consistency, or they could go the Mystic Mine route and really hurt you because their monster effects don't activate, they just do. So they could just sit there and burn you while you can't attack. But it's not Mystic Mine burn, they're still a Trickstar deck, they just, they can utilize it. But this deck isn't anything to scoff at. They can attack directly, they can constantly burn you, draw, and if they draw Troll and Lockbird, you're up Pooh Creek without a paddle. The next one I have is a bit of an odd choice, I would say, but I think an Intelligent Pilot could definitely beat some meta decks with this deck. ABCs. This deck has a variety of cards it can use, as far as light and machine monsters, as well as I've seen them create just some insane boards. I've seen them make some of the most insane boards. This deck, I've literally seen it make make a Link monster, then make the Boojin, and then make the ABC, and then split it apart and go into Saryuja and start the whole cycle over again. And then next thing I know, I'm staring at Saryuja, another Boojin, another ABC, and a full hand going, how did we get to point A to B? So the point is, an Intelligent Pilot who knows the combos of the deck can definitely pilot this thing and make meta decks look, well, weak. Next one's a shout out to my buddy Steven. Blue Eyes Guard Dragons. Now I know you guys are like, wait a minute, what about Thunder Dragon Guard Dragons? That's probably the stronger of the 2 Guard Dragon based decks. But the truth is, most people can't afford Thunder Dragons, but Blue Eyes is a hell of a lot cheaper, especially because I think you only need 3 Blue Eyes cards. So the rest, it can be, I'm sorry to say it, but Blue Eyes is going to be a lot cheaper than Thunder Dragons. It's not going to be as powerful, in my opinion, but, you know, I'm not going to discount it. I gotta say, I think the Blue Eyes Guard Dragon deck is heavily underrated, and I think you'll have your opponent will be underestimating you, and you can use that to your advantage, especially if you're a smart Blue Eyes player. As we've been seeing lately, a lot of Blue Eyes players have been making some noise at the regional scene, so it's quite possible that a Blue Eyes deck can wreck a meta deck easy enough. The next one we have is one of my personal frenemy decks, which means I like and hate the deck at the same time. It's a weird dichotomy. Anyway, Heroes. The reason I say that is because Dark Law hurts, and let's face it, in Modern 2019, the Dark Elemental heroes are the strongest right now, or the Mask hero, Dark Law, is the strongest, which makes any hero deck that has Dark heroes in it go up by, like, you know, a billion points in the strength factor. Plus, being able to turn it to a one-sided macro, depending on the deck you're up against, it's rough. The next one I have is Pendulums. Now, the reason why I'm just saying Pendulums is because there's multiple Pendulum decks out there. Odd Eyes, Pendulum Magician, Dark Pendulum Magician. I mean, there's literally a plethora of Pendulum decks that are, you know, that just, they can throw a huge board of negates out there, and you're just sitting there going, how the hell? And I'm just saying, if, like, come on, if I can do damage with 3 negates or two negates and a disruption and take a win, this deck can throw even more disruption out than my preferred favorite deck that's on this list can. And yeah, if you can throw out that much negation and being able to recur your resources like super easy, I mean, come on. The next one I have on this list is Zombies, because Zombie World is a royal pain in the ass. I mean, you literally can lock an opponent out with this deck using Zombie World and friggin' Rivalry Warlords, and then and this hurts like 4 out of 5 of these meta decks. Just that combo alone. Not to mention this deck, the Zombie deck now has its own negation and board removal. I mean, in one card. Not including whatever else it could possibly toss out. Not to be underestimated. Next one on this list is Cyber Dragons. Good old Zane be proud. Let's face it, guys. Orcrust are all robots. Cyber Dragon says, "Oh, I love machines." Let's face it. That's just how they do it, man. They look at robots. Cyber Dragon looks at robots and goes, I'm gonna put you right here, I'm gonna put you right here, and now I'm a bigger robot. And then, you know, nuke on top of negations that it can summon. I mean, just being able to absorb and negate and disrupt, it's yeah. And my favorite on the list, because you guys know I can't make a list of decks that destroy meta decks without throwing dinos on there, especially because we're about to get some support that actually hurts extra deck decks. So heck yeah, we're getting that new raptor. I can't remember its name, but it's a raptor, it's a dinosaur. Basically, if it's out, like, you know, monsters in the extra deck zone can't activate their effects. It's like, and it like can cycle itself out, like, so if you kill it, I'll just get another one. Anyway, point being, dinosaurs not only will have this new support coming, we already have Logia, Dulka, we have Pankratops, we have Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, we have Lost World. This field spell is busted. Literally busted. So yeah, you guys know that, like, depending on the deck I'm up against, you know, with dinosaurs, I'm just gonna wreck face. Alright guys, let's cut to the spreadsheet so I can show you what decks are good against what decks. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Alright, here you go, guys. This is it right here. This is the list, or I should say the start, part 1 of the diagram to show you guys what decks are good against what. As you guys can see, True Draco has a good matchup against Mystic Mine and Thunder Dragons. I don't think it has such a good matchup against Orcust and Sky Strikers and Salamangrates, but that's just because these decks have a lot of back row and a lot of graveyard support. or a lot of graveyard support. They are maybe able to negate effects on the field, but that doesn't really help when you can just, like for example in the case of Sky Strikers and Salamangrates, they inherently have the cards they need and ways to get to the cards they need to get rid of the True Draco's skill drain. However, I do think that this deck has a solid matchup against Mystic Mine, as it's just like, okay, tribute, blow it up, attack. They'll never get to keep it. And then, of course, Thunder Dragons. They're like most of the Thunder Dragon decks are primarily a monster-based heavy deck. So that being said, yeah, they got it. The next thing is Trickstars. I think they have the best matchups against Thunder Dragon, Sky Striker, and Mystic Mine. That's just because they can mess up their hands really easily and droll them. Salamangrates and Orcust have graveyard effects, so they don't really care. Thunder Dragons to a point too as well, but it can just depend. ABC good against other machine decks. So I'm gonna say that he has a good shot against Orcust. Mystic Mine's a pain in the ass. Sky Strikers, this ABC Buster Dragon can dodge the primary cards that the Sky Striker deck would use to get rid of it. So getting rid of their cards while throwing a big board plus all the floating. Thunder Dragons hurt because obviously they're going to stop any searching, and yeah, that can slow the deck down. And then of course Salamangrate, like I said, they both have floating and searching, so they're pretty even kilter. But I'm going to give the slight edge to ABC on this one, especially if it were under a skilled player. Blue Eyes, same thing with Salamangrates. Thunder Dragons, I think Thunder Dragons do what Blue Eyes does, only better, because they're both probably playing the Guard Dragon variant. Sky Strikers, they can hurt because they can just summon regular Blue Eyes and proceed to smash. Because, normal monsters hurt. Mystic Mine hurts. I think that Orcust is too fast for Guard Dragon Blue Eyes right now to keep up. Paleozoics, they're good. They're good against like Sky Strikers. They're good against Mystic Mine, but I think the other three are just too fast, or they're, or they can just slow them down. And then like the Thunder Dragons, they get a lot of advantage off of being banished. So I don't think that they have what it takes to take out Colossus outside of the one that banishes. But some of the Thunder Dragons, like, they don't care. They're like, oh yeah, banish me, okay, haha. Or I think that the Thunder Dragon, Guard Dragon deck might be able to throw more negates. It just depends. The next one I have is, here's part 2. Heroes are going to be good against Sky Strikers and Salamangrates. Both these guys need their graveyard. This heroes say no to their graveyard. Mystic Mine will kill heroes because most of them aren't main decking like Twin Twisters and things like that, although they could, but that's up to them. But a lot of them don't. Orcust, if you banish their stuff, they're going to laugh at you. Thunder Dragon, same thing. Okay, so now we get to Pendulum Magician. I think that Orcust is a tough matchup for them, but that's just because, like I said, they can float and they can fight through negation after negation, so that really hurts. I think that this deck actually does have a good shot against Mystic Mine, but that's because there's like they have Dragon Pit and they can search it, so they can just ditch, destroy, and keep going. They also can play normal monsters, so Sky Strikers doesn't necessarily have to, be the end-all be-all for them either. Plus, I think that they can just out-negate them, and I think that Pendulums, especially a skilled Pendulum player who actually knows every combo with his deck or her deck, will be able to know how to, outmaneuver Sky Striker. And so there you go. And the Thunder Dragons are going to hurt because Pendulums do search a lot, but yeah. And then I think Salamangrate can really hurt, especially if they get to go first. But that's, that one. And Salamangrate's graveyard effects allow them to keep going after past negations, which I think might be a pain in the butt. Now, I know you guys are thinking, damn, zombies look good. I want to preface this. These are players who actually know the combos of their decks and have studied these 5 decks. We're going under that base assumption here. So not every player who plays these 10 decks is going to beat these decks. You might be the hero player who's really good against Mystic Mine, for all I know, but you suck at the other 4. This is just a generic guess. at what this stuff is. I just want to preface this that. But yeah, zombies, like, if they get their combo, yeah, Mystic Mind's the only deck that really hurts. Because zombies are monsters. And Mystic Mind says, okay, screw your monsters. But against the other 4, yeah, you throw that out there and, you know, yeah, they're zombies, man. It sucks. And if you activate it, and Balderdrock is, you know, he basically says, okay. And of course, this is also not including sideboards. This is where, you know, players can change the method. But we're talking about inherent advantage. But yeah, basically turning everything into a zombie really hurts these decks. Cyber Dragons, same thing. These guys, all of the I keep wanting to touch the screens if you guys can see, but all the extra decks here, these, like, out of the top 5, 4 of them are extra deck based decks. So therefore, I would argue that yeah, Cyber Dragon has an inherent advantage. It also will have an inherent advantage extremely over the Orcrust player because they are machines. And, you know, being able to go into Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, go old school, and take out an entire board seems pretty good to me. I mean, sure, they could maybe Fog Blade your Cyber Dragon stuff, but, like, you're not going to care. You're just going to, okay, I'm going to get rid of it, link off with it, or whatever. So, you know, your opponent will, you know, it won't really do much. And then we come to Dinosaurs. Now, this is the one I have the most experience with, and I can say that for sure, Mystic Mind and Sky Striker and Thunder Dragons are really hurt by Dinosaurs because, you know, the Dinosaurs can bypass all the Thunder Dragons' defenses and block targeting and all that stuff. And then, of course, Sky Strikers blocking targeting, putting tokens, turning off their spells. Mystic Mind, I mean, we Dino players can play Survival's End. I do. So we already have an in-theme out to it, and so there you go. And that card can give us advantage, so we can just keep blasting you after we've gotten rid of Mystic Mind. Or if we play Logia, we just wait for Mystic Mind or Metaverse to be activated and then negate. But unfortunately, Dinos do not have a favorable matchup against Salad and Orcust. So there you go, guys. This is my top 10 decks that I think can take on the meta. And then, of course, with the diagram, I've shown you guys the decks that I think that they have the best advantage of. And, of course, a skilled player who knows how to side and is, you know, ready to fight these 5 decks and knows what they're doing. You know, I really think any one of these 10 decks could beat all of them. But I'm just talking inherent advantage with this diagram. Alright, guys, so I hope you liked this video. I hope this wasn't too crazy, and I'm sorry if I yawned a lot. It's late at night when I'm recording this, and this is pre-recorded, so... Oh, also, guys, we hit 400 subs. How freaky is that? So if you guys, since this is pre-recorded, I'm going to hope that you guys showed up to my live stream that should be happening, should have happened Friday. So if you guys showed up to that, make sure that you know, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you were there. Also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I guess that doesn't really help, does it? Just tell me in the comments below if you were at my live stream. Anyway, guys, if there's any decks that you think that I missed that can take on the meta and have really good matchups, make sure you put them below in the comments so people know, because we want more people to know about this stuff. And yeah, I'm Bet2000 Joe. I'm your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.